target, Deathbox 2. There used to be a thing that said like wait, and it would wait at this point, but I guess that's not an option. If you choose this option, it won't actually physically move back and forth, it will just like pop back and forth, you know what I'm saying? But of course you don't want that. If you were to use it, it would be a good use for something like if you had targets going from the left to the right and they went off the screen and then like they went from the right, they'd teleport back to the left and then start going again, kind of shit like that. Anyways, so now that you got this shit named, all you have to do, you don't even have to like bother trying to intricately make another one. With the path track tool, you can hold shift, drag it, and it will duplicate it, but it's already got its path in there, as you can see. So right now, this box will go from here to here, and it won't do anything after that because the next stop target is Deathbox 2, which is itself. So if you set it back to 1, it will go in a loop, and it will go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Alright, Mike, time to make your box. We're gonna do this real quick this time, because I've done this fucking 4 times already. I'm just making a box pretty much for us to build this fucking level in, so I can show you what it works like. Alright. Oops. The fuck? Alright. So what you're gonna do, this box you see right here, this thing's gonna be the breakable part of it. We're gonna duplicate it twice because we're gonna need a part that hurts you, and we're gonna need the train. The train we're gonna want to be a no draw texture. There's 3 of them, but just use the furthest left one. Alright, click this button and it will make it that texture. Make it like 32 by 32 units. Because you want it to be smaller than the actual breakable part, but bigger than the entity that makes it a train. Alright, and the breakable part, we want it to be 8 units bigger on all sides, just so that it's physically out of the the one you have to break. Make this a texture called trigger. This one, not that one. And that texture will be transparent, because in the game you won't actually see anything when it's there. This entity, click Control T, make it a trigger underscore hurt. Alright. When it's trigger hurt, make the parent. A parent of any object is what it will follow. It will move the exact same when it moves, it moves, etc. Alright, the parent, we're going to call this thing Deathbox 1, so let's call it Deathbox 1 is the parent. That's what this entity will follow. Damage, we're going to want to put at 1,000 so that it kills anyone instantly. The damage type, you can choose here basically what sounds it will make. Generic is good enough though. You're not really going to ever care about what sound it makes. 0 damage force means that it won't push somebody like their ragdoll when they die. But if it says no, then it will push them. Flags, everything here is pretty much blatantly obvious. Good to go. Alright, the breakable part. Now we'll do the train first. Make this a func underscore track train. The name has to be Deathbox 1. There is no parent for this because it's actually the thing moving. First stop target, that is the first entity which it will be on. We're going to call it Death Track 1. It'll show up red because it doesn't exist. Max speed and initial speed, they should both be at the same. 100's really fast though, so we're going to put it to 40. Change angles. This means that the object will rotate when it moves around the thing. I put it on fixed orientation, which means that it will not rotate. This, put it to 0. This, put it to 0. Everything else 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I didn't know there was a health for this, but we're not going to use it. Put that to 0. You can fuck everything up using that. The sound, I mean, hell, if you want a sound, put a sound, but I'm sure you can figure that part out on your own. Alright, apply that shit. So, Deathbox 1 is the name of the train. Death Track 1 will be the name of the first stop on the track. Now, this, Control T, func_breakable. You want the parent to be Deathbox 1. Prop data doesn't matter. Strength, this is how much damage it takes before it breaks. 1 means it will break on one shot of any gun. The material is the sounds that it will make. Put it to metal just because that way, like, and it also controls the gibs that fall out, so metal parts will fall out instead of human parts. Everything else is pretty much good. Explode magnitude, if you set this, it will actually explode when it breaks. If you set it to 1, it will just make an explosion and it won't virtually do any damage to anyone because no one will be close enough to it to do it. But if you put it to like 100, then it will do more, etc., etc., etc. 0. Alright, so this thing's good to go. We are going to set outputs. Click Add. My output named on break, which means that when this entity breaks, target entity is named Deathbox 1. Sorry, my computer fucking lagged out for a second there. View this input, kill, which means it will destroy the train. You also will want it to, why the hell is my computer lagging out? You'll also want it to kill the trigger. I don't know how I managed to select the trigger there. Computer's going crazy. But you're gonna have to name the trigger. Just call it Death Hurt 1. I put the 1 there in case if like you're gonna do more of these things, you can just duplicate the whole thing and then replace the 1s with 2s or whatnot. Alright, Death Hurt 1 is named, so create another output, just duplicate this, copy, paste, and then rename this to Death Hurt 1. Good to go. Now both those are in there, and they both have 0 delay, which means that as soon as you break the shit, it will turn off all that shit. Now, put all this shit back together. What the fuck is going on with my computer? Alright, shit's together. Last step is to build the track. Click Shift-E or Entity Tool over here. The entity you want is path_track. First one, we're just going to create it inside the actual thing so it starts where it is. Click Alt-Enter on this shit to edit its things. First thing is Death Track 1. Because that's where it starts. That's where it's set to start. Next stop target will be Death Track 2. Alright, good to go. Everything else, we'll leave it exactly the same as it is. Go to Flags, set it to... What the fuck? Oh, I'm not on the right thing. On your train, sorry, I should have focused on this earlier. Go to the Flags tab, click Fixed Orientation, and click No User Control, which means it doesn't require a person to start it. Then, computer's lagging out. Then, with your path track, you don't actually have to create another one. You can use Shift and the mouse by dragging it, holding Shift this whole time. Let go of the mouse first, then let go of Shift. Now your path is created. As you can see, there's a line going back and forth, whatever. Default, if I click Alt-Enter on this, the next track is 2, which is wrong, which means that when it goes to here, it will just stay there, never go anywhere else. So I can set the next track to track 1, but just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna make another one. Alright. Now this one, we're gonna set this to next to be death track 1. Then, as you can see, it's gonna go wah 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 wah, and we're good to go. Let's, oh no, I have to put a player spawn in here first. What am I thinking? Alright, let's see what this shit works like. Alright, you got your Deathbox going? Nice.
Okay, let's go.
As you can see, it's following its path. If I walk where it isn't, it's not going to hurt me. And let's see if it hurts me. Dun 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 dun. There we go. Now, time to see if you can break this shit. Stupid wait time.
Alright, let's move.
Yep. Does not exist at all after broken.